Hey everybody, thanks for watching. This is Be Better Golf Live. I'm the host, Brendan DeVore, and with me today, as normal, is Monty Scheinblum. Introduce yourself, Monty, other than, hi Monty.
What would you like to know?
Like a one-liner on who you are.
Everybody calls me says I'm the anarchist because my views are pretty much different than what everybody else has to say. I think, I take it as a compliment and, as a joke, but, a well-intended, humor. But I like to think that, my sense is a little bit more common sense approach and just kind of looking at things the way they actually happen instead of just, saying, okay, this is what everybody said for 50 years, so I'm just going to do that.
Right. So Monty's a golf coach that works with players of every level, going all the way up to the very close to the very top of the ladder, and then all the way to the most beginner. Okay, so let's get into some current events first. I have some questions that you guys wrote to me on Instagram. My Instagram is probably the best way to get questions for this show. So just go to at @BB_golf show and you can connect with me. Monty's about to get his Instagram going in full-fledged fashion soon.
I put up a few videos there. It's, between, teaching full-time and, I have 2 children. It's like, I had no time.
Another thing to make content for.
Yeah. I had no time for my own game, and I kind of been lax on my YouTube channel and on Instagram that I started. But, I'm only going to start teaching maybe 10 or 15 hours a week, down from about 30. And I'm going to put a lot more effort into my game and, start playing a little more. But yeah, I'm going to have more time to do, Instagram videos and YouTube videos and provide some more content.
On YouTube, Monty's at youtube.com/hititlong. On Instagram, he's just at Monty Scheinblum. And also available, still continuing with his online lessons and other things.
Yeah, I got like a flood of emails when I said I was going to cut back. Everybody's like, "You're not going to teach anymore?" I'm like, "No, it's okay. I'm just, not as much."
Yeah. Okay, cool. So let's get into the absolutely the hottest topic. I don't think just of the year. I think of the last, since Tiger's been away from the game, I think this was the best major tournament I've seen.
It was. I didn't get to see it live because I was doing a school in Columbus, and I only got to see the highlights. But it was pretty impressive. I didn't get to play Royal Troon when I was there last year, but I have a sense for what the golf over there is like because I played I played the Old Course, Liverpool, Lytham, and Carnoustie. So I have a vague understanding, more than a vague understanding of what golf over there is like. And, shooting 65 on one of those golf courses on Sunday of the Open Championship, that's ridiculous enough.
Yeah.
But shooting 63 out there, which, you can't those courses, this is what people don't understand that have never played there. The courses in and of themselves are not that penal compared to what we're used to here.
Yeah.
Courses here are pretty wide. I mean, I'm not talking about the old traditional U.S. Open courses. I'm talking about the courses that most golfers play every day.
Or even like a typical tour stop.
Correct.
Yeah.
The fairways are usually very generous, but there are a lot of 2-shot penalties on American golf courses.
Yeah.
There aren't a lot of like that one hole at Troon, you could hit it into the railroad tracks on number 11, I think it was. But generally speaking, the area in which you can hit the ball and find it is enormous.
Okay.
The area in where you can hit it where you can hit it on the green is relatively small.
Okay.
So you can be crooked on your bad shots and be fine, but you better be exact on your good shots. So, that's why the British Open was perfect for Tiger, and especially the Old Course at St. Andrews, where, Tiger would be straight, 50 yards offline, go find it and hit it back and make par.
You're right. It's just the one-stroke penalty, not a water ball.
It's not even a one. It's a half a shot penalty.
Okay.
If you hit it in one of those bunkers, it's a half a shot penalty. You can advance it around the green.
Chance for.
It's not like a lot of the courses here where you hit the ball 5 yards out of the fairway and you're reteeing it.
Yeah. So So obviously we're talking about the 2016 Open Championship at Troon. It came down to, well, let's just do the first day first. Phil Mickelson shot 63 on Thursday, and his swing is really, he hasn't really shortened it like he wanted to under Butch Harmon, but he seems to be taking it much more vertical on the backswing, and he's talking about his swing feeling like it's on rails, like it's more on plane. He's able to hit it straighter. Do you see any real difference?
No, it's
Phil.
It's the same golf swing.
Yeah.
Somebody who shall remain nameless did a swing vision of analysis of him the other day, and he's like, "Oh, look, Phil's here, and he used to be here."
Right.
And the camera angles were different. It was the same golf swing.
Yeah.
You know, he's not going to, you know, the changes in his swing are very, very subtle.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? In a player of that caliber who's played that well for that long, a change that is pretty much invisible to the naked eye is going to make a huge difference. Right. If nothing else, then if he feels like he has more room, he's linked up better, even if the swings are identical, that's going to provide better golf.
The thing that I think is interesting that you and I have talked about, I don't know if on camera or not, is that with a lot of pros, when they're practicing, so let's say they're practicing to take the club more on the outside on the way back. So normally they'll go like this, and then their practice swing will be like this. So their feel will have to be like this to change it just that much.
Correct.
In the backswing, because they're so locked into what they've always done.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, see, there's obviously, I was going to say there's a difference. There are many differences between the average golfer and a tour player.
Yeah.
But in this case, you're talking about guys that have hit millions and millions of golf balls, and it takes an exaggerated feel to move the needle a fraction of a millimeter.
Yeah.
Whereas, like the average golfer, if the average golfer that plays once a month gets too much of an exaggerated feel, it's not going to be long before they're making that mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're just exaggerated versions of amateurs. They just play a lot more golf and they're a lot better at it.
Right.
Okay, so then going and skipping a few days. Oh, well, you didn't see it live, but then Phil did. The reason he didn't win, really, the only reason he didn't win, because he was slightly off on Saturday. He just said he just didn't quite feel it, and he was.
You know what? That's golfer speak.
Yeah.
You're not going to go. Never mind the British Open Championship, whatever you want. Apologize to all of you over in the UK.
Right.
British Open is not meant to be a slight.
Yeah.
You're not going to go out and shoot 63, 65, 65, 65.
Yeah.
You're not going to do that in a regular tour event on a wide open course.
Yeah.
You just can't maintain that level of golf for 72 holes.
Yeah.
So, you know, they put a thing in front of your face, a microphone in front of your face. Why didn't you shoot 63 again?
Yeah, what are you going to say?
You know, oh, well, and he's been doing this. Phil has been playing the media correctly for 30 years now. There was nothing, his game was fine. He just did. Now, if he would have shot 74 or 5, or 73 even, then I buy that. But, you know, he still, you know, had a fine day.
And Phil is, as we speak now in 2016, July, Phil is 46 years old. Does that make it more impressive to you, or is that really, for a sport like golf, or a game like golf, whatever you want to call it, is it not really that big of a deal to be 46 or to be 36?
See, to me, you know, from personal experience, it's not that big of a deal, because right now, you know, if you go back to when I was trying to get on tour in my mid to late 20s, when I was probably 10 to 15 miles per hour faster with my club head speed, the quality of golf that I play, even though I'm shorter than I was, the quality of golf that I play and the control that I have over the golf ball is significantly, I mean, perfect example. I just played Oakland Hills last week, okay? That's where they're gonna have the US Amateur next month. The guy that I played with is a great friend who I played junior golf with. He caddied for me several times when I was on the web.com tour. So he knows my golf game. And even though, you know, I only play once or twice a month now, and I don't have 18 holes of golf in me yet and that's why I'm starting to
Yeah.
learn how to play a full round of golf again. He was dumbfounded at how much control I had over my trajectory and my wedge distance control compared to what I had. I mean, you know, you could say that I was almost a tour level player because I almost won on the web.com a couple times.
Yep.
Had a couple of close calls at Q School. I could play a little bit, okay? But he noticed that, so the point for Phil, I didn't want to make this about me, is that I totally see it because as you get older, a lot of people gain in ability. See, Phil is a lot like me, obviously much better, but I didn't succeed as much as I should have because I didn't have control of myself out there.
Yeah.
And Phil should have won with his skill level way more than 5 majors, a
Yeah.
couple US Opens, because he didn't have quite control over himself at times. So now that he's getting a little bit older, even though he doesn't hit the ball quite as far and he's physically older, his game is equal or maybe even better because he's learning how to control himself a little bit better, learning how to control the ball better and more consistently.
Yeah.
So that's, you know I made that about me a little bit there, which I have a tendency to do because I'm trying to relate my experiences to the question at hand. But, you know, speaking from my experience, my skills have diminished, but my ability to play the game has gotten better. Yeah. So
the thing that broadcast-wise, it seems, I don't know why, it seems like Nick Faldo's not totally on board with the Phil Mickelson thing. He seems a little unimpressed for some reason. But Johnny Miller, his mind was blown by how Phil Mickelson can be putting so well at an older age. Obviously, Johnny had horrible putting problems right around 46 to 44 years old.
Right.
And he just can't believe Phil Mickelson making these 6-footers that so many guys with years of experience, you know, making and missing these putts. How putting wise, how can you
again,
you know,
I can speak from my own personal experience, and people that have played with me this year will absolutely tell you that I putt better now than I did 20 years ago. It's just, you know, Phil has always been a good putter, and you know, he's had a little bit of trouble with the shorter putts because he has a tendency to have a long swing.
Yep.
And, you know, the putter decells as it comes into the ball. He decells a little bit too much.
he can overdo it with the forward press sometimes.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, again, you know, to me, again, I hope nobody's getting the idea that I'm comparing myself to Phil Mickelson, but at his level and my level, there's a lot of similarities going on.
Yeah.
You know, and if you don't lose your game if the experience and understanding of the game you get surpasses how much your physical skills are deteriorating.
Yeah. Right. There's ways. It's an interesting game. There's ways you can make it up. You know, you can kind of get strokes back, even if you know, your physical nature's costing you some. The experience can.
Exactly.
Yeah. So okay. So let's go on to Henrik Stenson. One of my favorite swings on the tour. The first thing that sticks out about his swing in general, and specifically in the final round of the 2016 Open Championship, is he's got a very brisk tempo that stops short, and then when he comes through, it literally looks like this all one piece. And then he does this thing like this. I think at impact he's about looking over here.
Yes.
He's not looking at the ball.
Yeah.
A couple Swedish players do that.
Well, you know, the original thing, brisk tempo, I like the way you said that. The idea of if amateur golfers, they look at the wrong things from tour players on how to improve.
Yeah.
I'm not, probably 3 or 4 out of every 5 lessons I give, at some point, you know, I get fast with my tempo, and I'm just like, you don't.
It took you a year to get to your backswing, and then you were
right.
Yeah.
So, you know, there are very, very few golfers whose tempo is too fast.
Yeah.
Very few. Almost all of them are too slow. Okay. So Stenson shows that the rhythm is what you're seeing. The lack of effort the lack of apparent effort. What you're seeing is perfect rhythm, even though he's got fast tempo.
Yep.
All right. His change of direction is what makes him.
Yep.
You know, and see, and because his arm, whenever someone's arms are linked up really, really well to the rotation of their body, this is my own spin, but whenever they're, because I'm big on that, to me, that's all it is. Linking up your arms to the rotation of your body.
Yeah.
When somebody does that really, really well, there is an illusion that there's not that much lateral movement.
Yeah.
But watch it. Do a slow-mo. It's almost universal.
Okay.
That good players have about a net 4 inches of lateral hip movement toward the target.
Yeah.
Between address and impact. You know, like Colin Montgomery goes a little this way, but he's still 4 inches net this way.
Yeah.
You'll see a lot of guys load left and their pelvis will actually move toward the target.
Yeah.
And then they only have 2 inches of lateral movement.
Yeah.
But it's almost universal with
All
good
said and
players.
done, yeah.
There's about 4 inches of net lateral movement. So getting back to Stenson, I would be willing to bet that if you put a 3D system on him, that it would be 3 to 4 inches of net lateral movement in his pelvis.
Okay, so one of the things that always comes back when people are trying to get better, one of the checkpoints that you definitely want to check, and I recommend everybody do this with their camera at home or at their course, is where the head is moving laterally in the downswing.
Yes.
Now, Stenson, I haven't looked in slow motion, but I'm almost sure that his head does stay behind the ball. It doesn't go too in front of it, but his eyes do go in front of it.
His head rotates.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, he's definitely not.
Okay,
This.
Again, this is a huge, huge issue for amateur golfers because literally you find 20 great instructors and you say, what's the worst information out there? And it will be universal, 20 out of 20. Keep your head down. Because keeping your head down for so many different reasons is terrible. But the least of which is it doesn't allow room for your right shoulder to move.
Yeah.
Okay? And Stenson, and you know, Duval and Sorenstam are the two major examples. They release their head early. Now, I don't recommend that. People will have trouble with that if they do it on purpose. Okay? Releasing your head on purpose like that much is going to create a problem. Those players learn how to play that way. But what you definitely don't want to do is this.
Okay, yeah. Let it go.
You want the head to rotate. See, to me, I like to limit head rotation this way because your eye line loses the ball.
Okay.
Or you can tilt this way and all of a sudden you're pointing over there. So I like to limit head rotation going this way, and I like it to move freely. So you see, I didn't release my head that way, but you can see it's rotating a little as the ball's coming through, and then the right shoulder will kind of push it out of the way. So to answer your original question, yes, it's a very good thing, but forcing as much movement as Stenson has, or even further like Duval and Sorenstam has, that's pretty much gonna, cause a problem for most people.
Right. Just naturally, if it goes.
You know what, Brendan? It's just like everything else. You got the two extremes. You got Sorenstam and Duval. You got the keep the head down guy. Okay. And what's correct for most people is right in between.
Okay, guys. So we are going to go to questions now. Don't worry. We'll get to a lot of your questions. The best way, like I said, to get your questions to me is to send them to me on Instagram at @BB_Golf Show before the show, until we can get an intern or somebody to read the questions to me. But I just saw a couple of them, and let's tackle those now. Somebody out there, I forget who asked, Monty, was saying that they're having a hard time maintaining their focus through the entire round of golf. So maybe they're sharp in the beginning, and then they lose it, or maybe they don't have it until they're in the middle of the round, and then they lose it again. Their focus goes away. What would you say to this player?
If you have an answer to it, please tell me.
Right.
Now, kidding aside, I had a huge problem with that early in my career. Yeah. I'm not saying this just to prove a point. I'd say my bogey, while I was a touring pro, my bogey or worse percentage on the first hole of the day was probably 50%. Yeah. It was that bad.
So if you were to take your entire tour career and give you a handicap just on first holes, let's say first holes.
Oh God, I'm like a 12 or 14.
Right.
I was terrible.
And then the rest of it, you're a +4
right.
or whatever. Yeah,
okay.
Right.
So now, again, I like using my personal experience. This is why I feel like some of the best, obviously this is a self-serving attitude. I think some of the best golf coaches are guys that attained a high level in the game.
Yeah.
But not quite the highest level.
Right.
Because the guys that attain the highest level only know what got them there.
Yep.
Okay? The guys that almost got there were there enough to know all of the ups and downs and the potholes to avoid and all that other stuff.
That's kind of why like Kobe Bryant and Nolan Ryan will never be like great managers
right.
or coaches.
Whereas you see like the journeyman guy be a great
Nick
coach.
Walton and stuff.
Right, exactly. So, so again, that's why I like to use my personal experiences. And so now the issue I'm having right now, I'm an awesome 13 or 14 hole golfer right now as we speak.
Yeah.
Really.
Now first 13?
No.
You'd have to scatter, for 13 or 14 holes.
Here's I've only had 3 tournament rounds this year. And, I shot 70 in a qualifier for the Farmers, and I shot 7 over in the Southern California
for 2
Open
rounds,
and for 2 rounds. Okay, if you take my best 14 holes, those 3 rounds, I'm like 15 under par or 12 under par, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm like 20 over for the 12 holes that, So, to answer the question, my issue is not playing enough golf. Mm-hmm. The less golf you play, the more you're wasting your mental energy going, all right, am I lined up? All right, what am I supposed to hit from this lie? And you just expend so much mental energy. Whereas like when you're playing golf every day, you walk in. You know when the ball's below your feet, you get a little bit close to it and aim a little left. Yeah. These things happen automatically because you've done them so much. And the more you play, the more that becomes automatic. So what brings me to what golfers who don't have time to play that much, the biggest mistake they make, and this is the biggest mistake I make, I forget to drink enough fluids and keep food in my body.
Yep.
All of a sudden I'll be out there, I'm on the 14th hole, I've just made 3 consecutive bogeys on 11, 12, and 13, and I'm like, I'm just out of gas. Yeah. And I'm like, well, you moron, you haven't had a drink of water since the 3rd hole, and you haven't eaten since breakfast 2 hours before you started. Yep. So
they say that a 1% reduction in your body's hydration will screw up your decision making by like 60%.
Exactly right. And when so the amateur golfer and me, who only plays twice a month now, you're using so much energy figuring things out that you expend it all and then you're spent in the middle of the round.
You bunk.
Yeah. So it's really, really important. I make this mistake. I'm a total hypocrite saying you must do this because I'm a fender of this. You got to drink enough fluids. You got to drink Gatorade. You got to drink water. You got to have fruit bars and nutrition bars and bananas and nuts and because the other side is you don't want to have like a big hot dog or a BLT.
No, that's the bogey dog. The 10th hole hot dog, that's a bogey dog. Yeah.
You don't want, if you eat something heavy, then your body has to process that. You want to eat stuff that your body can metabolize quickly.
Yep.
Trail mix, nuts, bananas, whatever.
Yep.
So that's the important answer to that question is you're expending so much energy mentally because you're not a regular golfer that you wear out.
Yeah, that's also important too, especially if you're playing in a tournament, to try to find common things outside of golf that you have with your competitors that you can talk about. Because otherwise you are going to burn yourself out thinking about your next shot and stuff.
Oh gosh.
So you see it on tour all the time. These guys are talking about college football and
absolutely
and gambling, and they're talking about their kids, whatever. Just like stuff and they're not doing it all just because it's just random fires of brain. They're doing it on purpose to get their mind off of the next thing to do.
Now there's always exceptions, but you will almost never, ever see a tour player with a club in his hand on the tee of a par 3 where there's a weight.
Yeah.
Whereas the amateur golfer, like, 180, grab his 6-iron out of his bag and stand on the tee going, is this the right? Oh no, the wind just switched. Oh geez. Oh, okay. That guy looked like he came up and all of a sudden it's time to hit, and they're done. They're done.
Another quick little tip that I've used in my last tournament last weekend.
Yeah, great job, by the way.
Thank you. That I used is I remember hearing Michael Campbell when he won the U.S. Open, saying that he was feeling his focus slip a little bit. I think he was holding off Tiger actually.
You pretty much anybody that won a major during that era, they were holding off Tiger, right?
So Michael Campbell, when he won his U.S. Open, the guy from New Zealand, he said that he went to the bathroom, and he didn't even have to go to the bathroom, but he went in there and he took a tee out like this, and he stared as hard as he could at the very tip of the tee, and focused on his breathing, kind of getting it all like there. And then at the end, he did that for only about 20, 25 seconds. And then at the end of it, he closed his eyes, he took some deep breath, and it kind of got him refocused.
I like it.
I don't know exactly what that does. I know that the Native Americans used to have something that they used to do almost just like that before war. And I think there's something to it because it was helping me. So.
See, I think a better idea would be, like, if you're in the U.S. Open or in a PGA Tour event, there's got to be like a few groupies out there that you could focus on. To me, that would be the better idea.
That's definitely been done. All right, so moving on to the next question, because I read it when I was back over there. Thanks, guys, for watching. We answered this a couple weeks ago, but let's do a kind of a truncated version of it. Somebody is hitting it fairly decent with their irons, but it's fading to the right with the driver and the 3-wood.
I mean, generally speaking, people can get away with being a little steep, a little vertical with the shaft.
On the way down?
On the way down, because you're kind of hitting down on the ball, and you're taking a divot. When you start getting a little vertical with the shaft, with a driver and a 3-wood, your body has a tendency to go like this at the bottom, and then you're going to get the high wipey fade with that. So you've really, and plus people naturally are trying to smash the driver and the 3-wood more. Yeah. So that's even the bigger karate chop move. So so as soon as you take that driver and that 3-wood out, you yank on it really hard, and you're right here. That's right. Your body's going to pretty much react by going like that, and that's where you're going to get the fade. The high weak fade from. Whereas, if you sequence a little better and get it more there, that's not going to create as much of a fade. A lot of that weak fade is created by hitting it in the heel because you're a little too vertical with the shaft.
Cool, I think that does it. And all right, so a question that we had on Instagram, somebody wrote to me on Instagram, I'll plug it again, at @BB_golf show. Okay, and this is something that happened to me in my tournament was, okay, so we talk so much about, just like you were talking about, it's really a good idea for a lot of golfers, not everybody, but for a lot of golfers to get more shallow with their irons, right?
Okay, I make this mistake too. I'm trying to stop. Okay? People confuse shallow angle of attack and steep angle of attack with a more horizontal and a more vertical shaft. I do it too.
This and this,
right?
And then
see, because here's the irony: is generally this is not, generally speaking, when you get extremely shallow with the shaft back here, okay, your brain will kind of steepen it to get to the ball, and when you're really getting the hands like this, and the hands low, and the shaft low, like, people say, oh, you got to return the club to the original shaft plane, you're going to steepen the angle of attack. Whereas when you're coming in like this and you're getting the shaft really vertical, and then you're standing the hands up, people say, oh, look at how steep that is. But that actually shallows out the angle of attack. So that's neither here nor there, but I just want to be clear that exactly what we're talking about. Okay.
The question is that I and I think a lot of people that have gotten better at getting it more shallow and less steep. Right. But in the tournament, and this is the question is, the question is hitting out of a divot, and you feel like you want to now be a little steeper.
Yes, absolutely.
So we have a lot of divots here. So let's talk about hitting out of a divot when you want to get a little steep.
Every year that I've taught golf, I'm in my 6th year now, I have gone more and more and more, whether it's short game, fairway, working the ball, different shots that you're trying to play. I have gone more and more and more toward trying to do everything exactly the same in your intent and changing the shot with setup.
Oh, okay.
Okay? So like the way I teach people to draw and fade the ball is not by closing the club face and strengthening the grip and weakening the grip and swinging more left and swinging more right and doing all that nasty stuff. If they want to move the ball in a different direction, whether it's just to change their ball flight for a shot or to hit it around a tree or whatever, I say, look, make the same golf swing and just change the ball position.
Okay.
You know, like to hit a big draw, move the ball way back in your stance. To hit a fade, move the ball way forward in your stance.
Yeah.
But your intent is to make the same golf swing.
Okay.
So, bringing us to this,
The divot,
I don't
yeah.
like the idea of saying, okay, I'm going to make a different swing to dig it out of this divot.
Oh, okay.
Okay? I would like, because look, it's much easier, whether it's short game or full swing,
Yeah.
to learn one really, really good way to do it and then change the parameters to make that same move and create it.
Okay.
So instead of sitting there going, okay, I'm going to tomahawk chop this sucker because it's
Yeah.
in a divot, move the ball back in your stance, tilt your spine very, very forward, and just hit it.
Okay, so we're going to try that now. I almost hit my ball out of bounds when I tried to steepen the shaft on purpose.
See, this is exactly what I'm talking about.
And then I had to do a drop, and then I made a swing from a good lie, and I hit it to a foot. So it was
Okay.
like annoying.
So this is, you just made my point for me.
Yeah.
You took yourself out of, you're already out of your comfort zone with this funky shot here.
Yeah.
So now you're going to take yourself even further out of your comfort zone by changing your swing.
No.
Good luck.
Okay.
Okay?
So the ball, yeah, it's hard to see, guys. This is in a pretty.
Oh, it's in a
this is-
significant divot.
This would be a real bad break on the course, but something you got to deal with.
So you've got sandwich in your hand, right?
Yeah.
So normal sandwich ball position is like
Yeah,
off
right.
your shirt
Yeah.
collar here. So like move it to about the middle of your chest. Okay, middle of your right pec, I mean. Okay.
Gotcha.
Now, lean the hips and spine forward.
Hips and spine like this,
A little bit more forward with the spine.
like that, Monty.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay. Now,
So that my head didn't go this side.
No.
It just right, just like that.
a little bit more forward with your upper body. There you go. Good. Now, just make your golf swing.
Okay.
Fight the urge to be steeper because you're, okay, move a little further back in your stance. Good. Good.
Ooh-wee. Okay, cool.
I get it. I get it.
And make a normal golf
Just
swing.
make your golf swing. Okay? See, you didn't make your golf swing.
No.
You steepened it.
Yes.
Okay? This is exactly what I'm talking about. You're trying to just to make your regular golf swing.
Okay.
It's hard, I know, because you're feeling awkward.
Yeah.
You don't have to.
Feels like it's all the way back there. I got to go down at it. Yeah.
No, it's
Yeah.
already taken care of.
Let's try this again. All right, cool. So I'm here.
Excellent.
There, yeah.
Good.
And make a normal swing.
Make a normal swing. See, you're just yanking straight down on it.
This is a
See, because
this is a pro level shot.
It's not. It's not here.
It's not. Okay.
Here, look.
It feels like it'd be above my pay grade to hit.
No,
this
it's
easily.
not.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not loose. You know,
Right.
all you got to do is just lean on it a little bit and just make your regular swing.
Oh, that's really good. That was in a terrible divot too.
Okay, that was in the 2 divots that you just made.
Yeah, right.
Okay, and the people will see there, I barely swung at it. I didn't do anything different than I would normally do with a wedge. I'm watching, I'm standing right there, they can't see it. You're getting right here and you're just going, ah, and just yanking that
Right.
club straight down to the ball.
Let's try. It's only impressive if I can do it because you're good at golf.
As are you.
All right.
You just have to fight the urge to do something different.
Okay. All right. Again, that's a.
And yet,
divot.
you know,
All right.
this has been a running joke between us. You're like holding the lag something fierce.
Okay, I got you. Well, yeah, I feel like I have to, but I shouldn't. All my good shots recently have been dumping it out.
Your perfect position.
Okay, cool.
See, there you go.
Gosh, that was good.
See?
Now that's the difference between the first couple ones and that one is I was not afraid of putting it into the ground. I really just let everything
Absolutely.
out the way I've been doing.
I mean,
recently.
you
Yeah.
went like this to the first 2, like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to come vertical on this ball because
Yeah.
the divot, it's the steepness, the extra steepness of the swing is already taken care of
Yep.
by the setup. That was excellent.
Okay, guys, we have time for 2 more questions. I read one already just now, so we're going to get into that, and then I'll go read one again. If I missed your question and you're desperate to have it answered, either rewrite it in the comments right now, or put it in the comments for this video when it's reposted on YouTube. Okay, next question, Monty, is somebody says, you talk about getting deep in the backswing.
Yes.
We have a video that we did on Be Better Golf called Deep and Out.
Yes.
Yeah. So a little confused by what you mean about getting deep.
Okay.
Yeah.
All depth means is that way.
Okay.
That, I mean, it's no more complicated. Getting your right hip.
You're talking about me. Like if I'm set up to hit this
right.
shot,
It's just more. It's just more that way.
Right.
Getting your right hip deeper, getting your right shoulder deeper, right. Getting your hands deeper. It's
so this.
That has no depth
would
at all.
have no depth because if the ball's here, if my hands start here and they go to here,
yeah, no good.
Not had any depth.
No good.
Yeah. Now this.
Okay.
Would have a lot of depth.
Right.
Or maybe too much.
Guys with short arms and especially short upper arms have trouble getting depth.
Okay.
Guys with long arms and long upper arm, or excuse me, short upper arm have trouble. I mean, get extra depth. Okay, I fumbled this around. Let me start over again.
Yeah.
Okay. Sometimes I talk too fast and I run right over it. Okay. So if you do a test like this, okay, I've got long upper arms and short lower arms.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we can see the difference. My elbow goes to my hip,
right,
and your elbow stops like at your belly button.
Right. Yeah. So this is shorter, this is longer. So I'm going to be way up here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to get very deep if my thumb is above my shoulder, that far above my shoulder.
Yeah.
Because I have short upper arms and a long lower arm.
Yeah.
Okay. If you have long upper arms and long arms in general, you're going to have a tendency to get too deep.
Okay.
Then you need more width. Hands further away from
you.
Okay. So sorry I fumbled that, guys. I didn't mean to make it confusing. So just to rehash, short upper arms and short arms in general, you're going to have trouble getting depth. So I have trouble getting depth.
So if someone, and this is the question here, if they, now that we know what depth is, if somebody wants more depth, other than just do it,
right?
What's a good way to ingrain it?
Okay. There's a couple of different. Number one, getting your right hip and your right shoulder deep enough is because you see people in the era of limiting hip turn.
Yeah, right.
Okay. Generally speaking, if you see more people have flat backswings and end up like this, but people that have trouble getting depth can actually benefit from a very little bit of that. So when I'm having trouble getting depth and I'm getting to here, I'll have a tendency to flatten it out a little bit, and that'll help me get a little bit deeper. Okay, but definitely getting this hip back and getting this shoulder back.
Now, how do you do that without like getting your shoulder super flat?
That a little bit of that is actually not the worst thing in the world for some people, but that's more about the people that like whip it inside and then really lift out of it. There's really nothing wrong. Like Kenny Perry's a perfect example. There's nothing wrong with a little bit of this. You just don't want that.
Okay. All right, last question for the night, and then Monty and I are going to do a YouTube video that you guys will see on the channel. Somebody's having a hard time hitting the ball fat.
Yes.
And, like seriously fat, where it's going like half the distance.
Okay.
All right, so if somebody's hitting the ball fat, obviously, generally speaking, what are they up to?
I mean, there's a bunch of different ways to hit it fat, but generally speaking, it's either the right shoulder is dropping too much and it's moving their swing bottom too far back, or their arms are way too passive and trailing the rotation of their body too much. And that's kind of, you get a little of both when you're doing it.
Well, let's talk about that right shoulder, because in my pitching, something I used to do real bad and will even still creep in sometimes, when I hit little pitches, I will definitely go like that a lot. That right shoulder goes low, and that's bad. And we've talked about getting it out more.
Right. The easiest way, okay, here's the hard part though, is people say, okay, I'll get my right shoulder forward, that's no problem. Look, my right shoulder's really forward.
Right.
Okay, that's your head pulling your right shoulder forward.
Right.
You want the right shoulder rotating forward.
Yep.
Okay, so using that distinction. Great thing to do is take a noodle, a pool noodle, and put it on an alignment stick.
Yeah.
And put it so the pool noodle is like hanging right here. And the ball doesn't exist anymore.
Right.
You're just going to take a backswing and rotate that shoulder all the way to the pool noodle.
So the noodle's going like
No,
this?
the noodle's up in front of your left shoulder.
Oh, okay, and you're getting that shoulder to the noodle.
Correct.
Just put that stick there for a second, Monty. I'm just going to feel it. Here, and yeah, that feels good.
Yeah. See, here's the problem with drills and the golf swing. There's nothing idiot-proof.
Yeah,
There's no drill, there's no training aid. And when I say idiot-proof, I'm not trying to be insulting.
Yeah.
I've ruined the idiot. The idiot factor's gotten the best of me a bunch of times. So like you just have to be careful that when you're doing that drill, that it's not. So like hold the stick out here, so you're not going, look, I got my right shoulder to the stick. Because that's dead.
Yeah.
That's worse than dropping the right shoulder.
Right. Gotta keep the head where it is. Like, not where it is, but it cannot go off sides, in my opinion. Okay, final question tonight, because like 3 or 4 people have asked it. When are we gonna see a Monty versus Brendan vlog? When will this happen?
Oh, pretty much anytime soon.
Anytime between now and the next 3-4 weeks. Monty is going to be spending some time in Long Beach coming up soon, and maybe we'll knock it out.
Having me out on a golf course is like flipping a coin. Like right now,
Yeah.
It's like flipping a coin.
Yeah. Who's going to show up?
It's who's going to show.
Yeah.
Well, I just played with a couple of golf guys from GolfWorks last Friday in Columbus, and I made 8 birdies. Could have been 10 or 11 birdies. I looked like a professional golfer.
Yeah.
And then there are other days where I had a poor night's sleep. I didn't hit any balls for about a week, and I just get up there and my panties are in a bunch. And,
and never quite get it.
And I'm just blocking drivers all day long, and my distance control, my wedges is terrible, and like every 7-foot putt burns the edge.
Yeah.
And then it's like, okay, Monty, now I understand why you teach golf. So, but now honestly, I'm not trying to make an excuse. It's from only playing golf once or twice a month.
Yep.
Okay. And
so a little shift in schedule and attitude now, though. Yeah.
So if I start playing golf 3 to 5 times a week, the good Monty will show up more often, and the bad Monty will show up less often.
Yeah.
And I have a little bit of vanity and pride. I don't want to get out there and it's like, all right, I hope bad Monty doesn't show up today and go out there and fire a nice 40 on the 9 out there, going, we're listening to this guy. He can't even get it in the air, But kidding aside, you can't expect any consistency in your golf game at any level if you're only playing once or twice a month.
Yeah.
To me, the minimum amount of golf for most golfers, where you're not necessarily going to be a tour player if you do this, but if you want consistency in your golf game, to me, playing golf twice a week and at least being at the golf course, hitting pitches, putts, whatever, an additional 2 to 3 days a week.
Oh yeah.
Unless you're at the course that much, you can't expect consistency out of yourself.
Right.
You're going to have your good days and your bad days, and you have to know that's a fact.
Yep. Yeah, and the thing that I think is really interesting is as far as like people, they'll play bad and they'll say like, oh man, nobody wanted it more than me. I wanted it so bad.
It's irrelevant.
That doesn't matter by the time you've gotten to the course. It's
Right.
how bad you've wanted it the 2 months leading up to this.
Right, exactly.
And how
right.
bad you've wanted it every day when you've woken up and every night before you've decided to quit.
And in this case, I'm not a hypocrite. I went to that Southern California Open a couple of months ago knowing I was going to be sloppy.
Yep.
And you have to start somewhere.
Yep.
So I just took the last month off with that back injury, just started playing a few days ago. If I go to the Long Beach Open going, oh yeah, I've played really well at El Dorado before, and I'm going to shoot 20 under and win that tournament, I'm already screwed. This is the first tournament I'm playing in the process of trying to prepare for Q School in November, and I'm going to be playing the 3 weeks after that. So quite honestly, if you said, Monty, you're going to shoot 76, 76 and miss the cut, I'd be like, well, that's pretty disappointing, but I find that
What are you gonna
believable.
do? Yeah, right.
And if you said, you know what, Monty, you're going to go out there, you're going to make a ton of birdies, make some stupid mistakes, make bogey and double on some holes you shouldn't have, and make the cut and shoot a nice 7, 8 under with 15, 16 birdies for 4 days, I find that also very believable. So, you know, all you can do is give your best effort on every shot, and that's what I'm trying to learn how to do again.
Okay, so guys, coming up on the there's this thing, it's actually this. It's called the Long Beach Open. It's a very, very unique tournament in that it's completely open. It's got players of all different levels. About 500 guys will enter the tournament, and then only about 60 will make the cut on a really busy year because it's split tees and split golf courses over the first 2 days. Monty's going to be playing in it. We're going to be covering it, maybe a little, maybe a lot on Be Better Golf. But the thing that I can say about it is I think one of the most noble things is the golf teacher that goes and plays tournaments.
Yeah.
Because you could really hurt your reputation, or you could really help your reputation. But it's very easy to just sit in your chair and have people come in and talk about the glory days. It's something totally different to go out and play tournaments. Yeah.
Well, you know, see, I don't look at it that way.
Okay.
I have already proven in my career that I can play golf. And I've proven it this year.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's not a world-beating thing, but I broke par in a qualifier for a PGA Tour event.
Yeah.
There's no question, you know, in very few minds that I can play really good golf at times.
Yeah, right.
And it's been reported on the internet. People come for playing lessons, really low rounds that I've shot. So that doesn't concern me in the slightest.
Great.
If I go out and shoot 80, 78, I'm going to be pretty mad that I was that bad.
Yeah.
But I have to be realistic and understand I have not been a tournament professional for 8 years.
Yeah.
And, you know, if I expect myself to go out and contend for this win, my first week out preparing, I'm an idiot.
Yeah.
Okay? But it's the first step in a process of I've got 3 more 3-round tournaments in August, a couple more in September, and several in October. Now, if at the end of that 3 months, if I'm then I need to reassess what's going on.
Because then you're actually putting some mileage under it.
Yeah.
All right, cool. So that's the Long Beach Open. It's happening. If you Google it, you'll see when it's happening, like next week. And it is really cool. And would you be bothered if people came out and watched?
Absolutely not.
You guys should come out and watch. It's at El Dorado Park Golf Course, and
Skylinks.
And Skylinks, yeah, on one of the first 2 days.
And you know what?
And it's a really cool golf course.
The golf courses are good, but here's the thing: it is the most well-run mini tour event in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, ask anybody who's played in it. It is run like a PGA Tour event. It's a great event. All the people that have put it on over the last 25, 30 years are they're fantastic, and it's a great tournament and a lot of good. I mean, you'll go out there and there'll be at least, I don't know, maybe 20 guys in the field minimum, possibly more, that have either played the tour already or will play the tour at some point, probably closer to 30 or 40.
Yep. Funny thing about the people who run the Long Beach Golf Festival, which the Long Beach Open is the ultimate event of it, the crown of it. They take all those events seriously because the A flight of the City Championship that I was in, a guy was 35 seconds late to our tee time and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I just saw a friend of mine I haven't seen in 20 years, but I'm here now."
2-stroke penalty.
He's like, "No need to be sorry. You'll be assessed a 2-stroke penalty."
Right.
And he goes, "Ha, you're on the tee." And he was like, wait, I'm really gonna? He's like, "Yeah." And this guy who was playing with me says, "Go F yourself," but he didn't say F to the guy. And it was like, I was like, dude, to tell a volunteer to go F himself, it's pretty low. So
I've seen worse.
Yeah, obviously I've seen worse, but it put kind of like a dark cloud over the round. It still played great, but
yeah,
okay.
That was an awesome job, by the way. I said that before.
Oh yeah,
really well done.
So well, I'm hoping to get a lot more tournament rounds in. So all right, guys, thank you for watching. This is going to be on forever on YouTube. Coming up soon, you'll be watching this. And we're going to be doing this for the rest of the summer into the early fall. Wednesday nights at 7:30, either here or somewhere else. And thanks for watching. Bye.
I don't understand the idea of maintaining that right wrist angle like this, because if you were tossing a ball, you wouldn't toss like that. Okay, I didn't explain this well enough. I want the weight of the club to act on the right wrist, both back and through. It's a drill, it's a feel. It teaches you how to not narrow the hand path your first move down. You literally can't execute it better than that.
Yeah.
Came in shallow, I didn't have much shaft lean, I engaged the bounce, I did everything I was trying to do.
Hey everybody, on Be Better Golf right now, you can see this video that Monty and I did. Monty gave me a lesson about pitching because, as you've seen in some of my vlogs, it's the weakest part of my game. But I really think soon it's going to be a strength and something that I really enjoy doing.
Well, you weren't struggling much because after you got the lesson, you beat me in a pitching contest.
And a game of horse.
Absolutely.
So yeah, no, and it's something, it's a move that is really just totally
universal.
It's universal. It's good for anybody to try it. So try it out. And I really think the information that we had in my lesson is going to be valuable for everybody. So pitching prescription, check it out.